What's going on, guys? I'm finally back. I haven't posted a video in a while because I haven't been doing much. But today, I've got a new project car. And it needs a CV joint real bad. So that's what we're going to do today. I got a right-hand drive Honda Del Sol. It's a turd, but I love it. So this is it. This is what I got. Nothing special. It's a D16 single overhead cam, no VTEC. It's fairly slow, it's automatic. The body's pretty rough. But yeah, it's right-hand drive. It's got the JDM trans top thing, so the rear deck lid, you saw that earlier. It comes up and then the roof goes into there. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, I've just always wanted one of these things. I thought they're pretty cool. And now I have one. And it was cheap. And it's only got 95,000 kilometers on it, which is awesome. So let's get into doing the axle now. First thing I'm going to do is remove the wheel. The next step is to remove the axle nut. Now these things are pinched here, so you're gonna have to get a flathead or something and then just knock that out of that notch so you can turn the nut. Now I've got a pry bar through the wheel studs and I've just set it on the ground here so that I can take my 1 1/4 socket and turn this without having the hub spin. There we go. Now I'm going to take a hammer and knock the axle loose from the hub. Now I'm not reusing this axle, so I'm just going to hit right on the end of the axle. But if you were taking this axle out for whatever reason and you wanted to reuse it, I would either thread your nut back on and then hit the end of the nut, or get like a piece of steel or something and hit that rather than the end of the axle, because you don't want to screw up the threads. But I'm just going to do it like this. There we go. That's loose. Now the next step is to remove the ball joint, the lower ball joint, so we can move the knuckle and get the axle out. And then also we're going to have to remove this lower shock bolt. Alright, so I've got the cotter pin and the nut out of the lower ball joint. Now I've just got this jack with a piece of wood on the rotor just to put a little bit of pressure on it. And then I'm just going to tap on the side of the control arm, like where the ball joint goes through, and it should just pop and let go. Man, that ball joint really did not want to let go. But now that it's out, I can lift the knuckle here and then push the axle the rest of the way out. Probably need a punch or something just to knock it through the hub. Maybe not. So now I'm gonna go underneath the car, and then these axles, they're just splined into the transmission, so just take a flathead screwdriver and just pry the thing out of there. It'll just pop right out. Now if you look at these two side by side, you'll notice that the new axle is just slightly larger in diameter than the old axle. So that's why we're going to need to now take the bottom bolt of this suspension fork just so that we can slide our axle in there, because it physically will not fit through here. So we're gonna have to slide it in through the side.
All around this empty town, I'm searching for the lost and found.
So putting this thing back in, you saw me slip it through the side there into the suspension fork. And then you're just gonna line the splines up in the transmission and push that in as far as it'll go. Apply a little bit of Never Sees to the splines on this axle. And then just pop that into your hub. While you're at it, you can put your ball joint back in. There we go. Put the axle nut on. Put the nut back on the ball joint. I'll put a new cotter pin in that. These cotter pins are very important. Don't forget to put these back in. We're gonna put our lower shock bolt back in. And we'll tighten up our axle nut. So see, I've just dimpled the nut back into the notch that was in the axle. And that's just so that it doesn't come loose. Now that everything's tight, we've got our cotter pin back in. We're pretty much done. We can put our wheel back on and go for a drive.
The atmosphere charting the stratosphere. Yeah. I prayed for you.
And of course, always make sure you torque your wheel nuts. I generally torque mine to 90 foot-pounds on small cars like this. Or you can check in your owner's manual, it'll probably tell you. And then obviously go for a test drive and make sure you re-torque them because they can loosen off. And that's it, we're done. Easy. Can be done in like less than half an hour. So yeah. I think the next thing I'm going to do with this car is probably clean up the body a little bit, like get a new fender, change that headlight. It's pretty beat up in that corner. And then I think I want to lower it a little bit. I don't know, probably get some wheels, but we'll see. So thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me on Instagram at ILikeAutosDaily. And we'll see you next time.
No point in blaming you, you did not know.